Welcome back, 8th graders. It's Workin' Wednesday. We're going to be doing something a little bit different. You're going to watch us do a short science video, then you are going to answer questions about the little science experiment we're going to do on Schoology. I'm joined today by my lab assistant, whose name is, don't give your last name.
Allie.
Okay. All right, and today we're going to do an experiment about density. Do you know what density is?
Nope.
Okay, that's all right. My 8th graders should know what density is, but if they can't remember, I'm going to remind them. So the textbook definition of density is the amount of particles, the amount of matter an object has in a specific volume. So I don't really love that definition. I prefer this definition. Density is the amount of particles or atoms in any given area of an object. It still feels like a mouthful, so let's look at a diagram to help us understand it better. So let's pretend I'm taking two objects of different materials and I cut out the same amount of the two different objects and I use a special magical microscope that doesn't exist. I zoom in so that I'm able to see the particles in these two different materials. And I'm going to see that material A is not going to have many particles. The particles are very spread out. Versus particle B, where there's lots of these blue dots that represent particles or atoms, and they're all kind of really squished together. So I would say A is social distancing, B is not social distancing. So this is when we're talking about density. Less dense means that you have less particles in a given area. More dense means that you have a lot of particles jam-packed. And what are you doing in a given area? All right. Okay. So we're gonna start off with this little science video, and I have two glasses that are the same size. And Ollie, can you remind the guys what is in each glass?
This is salt water. This is just plain old water.
Okay. So in glass A, there's just
water,
and in glass B, there's
salt water.
Okay. Perfect. So my first question I want you to answer is, which of these solutions, A or B, do you think has a higher density? And I want you to explain why. And I want to show you a picture. So Ollie told us that glass A was water. So if I could zoom in with this magical microscope and I could see the particles of water, I would see that there's just H2O. That's the chemical makeup of water. If I went to B and I zoomed in, I would see that there's water molecules, but there's also these little pink dots, two little pink dots, and that represents sodium chloride, which is a fancy science word for salt. Okay, so based on this diagram and knowing what you know about density, which do you think has higher density? And I'd like you to explain why. Okay, we're gonna move on to the second part of our experiment. Hold on, buddy. And for this, part 2 of your Schoology homework is to record what happens when we do this mini experiment. So what's going to happen in our mini experiment is Oliver is going to take two toy trains. So they're the same size, the same shape, and they're made of the same material. Okay, remember that objects of the same material will have the same density. We're going to put them in glass A, which has
just water,
and glass B that has
salt water.
Okay. And you're going to observe or record what happens. Are you ready, Allie? Let's start with glass A. Glass A.
Down the water hole.
Okay. Let's just give it a little push. There we go. And let's go with B. Why don't you give it a little push? There's a little hole in the train, so keep pushing. Interesting. Okay, let's give it a turn so you guys can see exactly where they are. Okay, so you're gonna see that one has sunk and one appears to be floating. And remember, objects float based on their density and the density of water. So please record what you see. We are going to learn more about salt water our next lesson when we are learning about ocean currents. Oliver, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Would you like to cheers?
That's why we don't drink salt water.
No, make sure you drink that.